Welcome to round one of the Premier League for 2019. We've got the Opens out here on the show court about to begin. Manly Warringah Sapphires and Central Coast Heart, a big one to kick us off. Central Coast won the title last year. It made waves up there on the Central Coast. Netball, a real found sport now. And the Sapphires have always been strong in this competition, so we're really looking forward to this matchup. I'm Brittany Carter. We've just seen a match between their under-23s play out where the Sapphires came out on top 60-35 by 25 goals. And English Rose, former defender, Sonia McCloma, assistant coach at the Waratahs, A&L, and also defensive coach for the Swifts, joining us in commentary again. Looking forward to this Opens clash, Sonia.
Yes, a lot of stars out on court today from both the A&L and some SSN training partners, so I think it's going to be definitely a good clash.
I'll be a bit worried if we don't know who the players are this time around. Our umpires, Shauna Winchester and Taylor Favell, about to kick us off. Jess Clay, the reserve, and Latika Toombs with the first centre for Sapphires. Cantwell out for the centre pass, coming back to Brooke Lawrence. Moving straight into the goal third. Toombs on the edge looking to feed, finds Cantwell. Quick work at the back.
Yeah,
and
good
Amber
movement from the
Brophy
attack.
sinks the first goal of the Opens game. Sorry, Sonia.
Yeah, good movement from the attackers at the back end.
Judge coming back to Thomas. Now Walsh finds Judge again. They go 1-2 in the circle. Hawley putting the shot up. Misses, but Taylor is under the post. Has won the ball for Coast. She was the MVP in the second season. In fact, funny enough, Sonia, there's been a Central Coast Heart player, the MVP of all 3 seasons of Premier League. First year it was Kristen Kessler, second Maddie Taylor, and then last year Amy Wild, who's now left netball for a little while.
Yeah, they're
Retired.
bringing through great talent up there, so it's good to see, and it's good to see they're performing out on the court.
Lauren Moore wearing an unnamed dress. It must be unfamiliar for her.
Good thing we know who she is. She probably forgot her dress. So turnover.
McGugan to Johns, who's a new player in this Manly side. She actually was on the block in New Zealand, so she's got a bit of a following on social media. Heavily strapped arm, feeding into Cantwell. Lovely little flick of the wrist, and the Sapphires make it 3, 2 up over the Heart.
Yeah, Cantwell's great little goal attack, similar to the under-23's little goal attack, and I think in the movement and the style of play. So Sapphires must be breeding them small. Small and accurate.
Well, she made a fine pairing with Georgia Master in the circle last year, but she's obviously busy with A&L commitments at the moment and also training partner with the Super Netball Giants.
Yeah, so it'll be interesting to see when she comes back or whether she gets to play some of the games, I guess, at the back end of the Premier League.
Elisa Walsh in centre for Central Coast, kicking off the next centre pass. Sped up now. Judge with the penalty for Hart. Hawley, top of the circle, using the edge, up and over Taylor, those strong arms up in the air.
Yeah, good pass by Walsh. And she's a veteran for the Central Coast Heart, so she's quite sturdy in what she does in her feeds and quite dogged in attack and in defence.
McGugan to Cantwell, coming back to Toombs. Running out now is Brophy.
Good hands by Latika Toombs and good defensive pressure from Lauren Moore that causes the throw-in.
So a reset for defenders here. Thomas really holding tight on Cantwell, although she's found some space now.
And good feed in by Toombs. The defensive end of Central Coast have got a lot of speed, so hopefully let's see if they can use it and a lot of elevation. So they should be getting way more turnover, so we'll see what happens as the game progresses.
A lovely cut and drive from Judge goes unnoticed. Instead they go a different route. Thomas on the transverse line with a penalty pass. Judge. Couple of fakes, but it ends up with Taylor, sandwiched between 2 Sapphires defenders, O'Shannessy, I should say, and McGugan.
Yeah, and that was a good pass by Judge to get that in and over those 2 defenders.
So the Sapphires with a little early lead of 2. Johns.
Good hands pressure from Lauren Moore and Dakota Thomas to get the turnover.
So Toombs keeping it in play, but losing the ball as a result. Judge coming through trying to take a specky. Oh. Instead, she'll be pulled up for contact. McGugan forced to come back to Lawrence, the sister of Chris Lawrence, who plays for the Tigers in the NRL. Nikita Jackson, who's just played a game with the under-23s, now on court in the keeping dress for the Opens. Yes,
I think the Central Coast Heart brought up some of their under-23s to play in tonight's game as well, so the Opens might be a little thin on numbers at the moment. I guess with Kristen Kessler being out with a knee injury, her sister's been brought into the team, so it'll be interesting to see if she gets on the court. Good ball movement and good feed by Judge to put it up.
So Maddie Taylor in that goal shooting bib for Central Coast is typically known to get the ball in the air. She's very good aerial.
Yeah, she is, and it'd be different for her because the last couple of years she's been mentored by Amy Wild. So Amy's not with the team this year, so it'd be interesting to see how her new feeder comes in and plays the ball into her. And that's Tasha Hawley.
The difference is 3. A lot of mess, and Moore cuts it out. Straight to Taylor at the back.
Great feed by Moore. And O'Shaughnessy nearly got a tip on that.
Why waste time, Sonia? Just get straight in there.
Yeah, 1-2 and in.
Johns wasn't asking for the ball in that scenario, and that's why Alicia Wells was straight on it.
Yeah, and it was a good pick-up by her. It's that second phase, which is quite deep for the Sapphires, so it was picked up by the Heart early.
Hawley's come out of the circle. She finds Judge on the edge. Downwards pass. Trickling in. The ball won by Steph McGugan, fair and square in that scenario.
Yeah, just not enough height from the attackers feeding it in, and I think with Maddie Taylor there, they're going to have to kind of line it up and see if they can put that ball a bit higher over the defenders. So they're underestimating the defenders' jumps at the moment, so they're going to have to adjust quickly.
Cantwell using the edge of the circle. And using the baseline now. Can't get it in. Jackson just calmly takes the rebounds. Right place, right time.
Yeah, good outlet through by Hart and good quick transition. But again, the placement of the ball from Hawley, so they're going to have to adjust that, especially on the turnovers. Ball picked up again by Laura Moore. Good touch on that.
Alicia Walsh looking long, but instead goes cross court. Now Hawley can't feed, decides to reset and head in herself.
Yeah, Judge is doing a lot of work on the top of the circle, in and around to get good position and good feed in.
Hawley with a confident shot, and it trickles in. So the Heart come back within 6-5, with 8 minutes to play in this opening quarter.
Good defensive pressure from Sapphires, but the Heart got through and opened them back up.
So they're playing a double up on Taylor.
Yeah,
and just allowing Hawley to find space.
Yeah, and right now, because Hawley's the main shooter at the moment, I guess I'd want McGugan to tighten back up again. McGugan?
You were close.
I'm like McGugan.
So Johns with the feed. Not only has she got a heavily strapped arm, but she's also got a big compression sock on her leg too. So she is a Kiwi residing in Australia for now, has been travelling.
And they're holding her whole right side together at the moment.
Yeah, basically.
Good defensive pressure by Thomas and Jackson inside the defensive circle of Central Heart.
Won the difference. A hot contest on our hands here. Sapphires in the lead as the Heart push, trying to level it up.
Ooh, push in the back. I think Walsh just missed the pop open from Hawley and went for the high pass in.
Driving back, Johns in the air. Finds Cantwell, they swing. Toombs into Brophy. And now still a little way out. Won't be any problems for Cantwell. She's a nice long-range shooter.
Yeah, she is. So Dakota's definitely going to change up what she's doing on the shot of Cantwell. Just because of that, so she might have to try and use her elevation and get up and jump on some of these shots.
It's a bit of a rugby league pass from Johns then. I know she has played rugby sevens, so mixing that up into netball too.
That's why she's heavily taped. Another miss, so good pressure from the Heart's defence end. We'll see how they bring this ball down court.
More to Thomas. Finding Judge in the middle. Call goes against Manly. McGugan outside. What are the Central Coast shooters going to do here? They go straight for Maddie.
Probably should have passed it to the shooter that wasn't marked. But
Yeah, Tasha Hawley was free.
Yeah, just to ease the pressure off Maddie Taylor a little bit. So Sapphire setting up a double defence on Judge, and she still was able to get through. So that's great movement by her. She might be one to watch throughout this game.
She's a little bit shorter than those two, and sometimes that does work in your favour, Sonia, when you can sneak through the middle. Cantwell to Toombs. Her mother used to play for Australia, Carissa.
Yes.
Father was involved in rugby, I believe. So a sporting family. Cantwell swings. She tries to find Johns and Moore over the top.
Oh, great.
It
great
has
ball.
gone her way.
Yeah, that was great positioning by Laura Moore, especially to get the win for Hart.
Moore finds Judge. And out is Hawley. They go laterally. Good hands. Walsh with a little fake.
Yeah, good defensive pressure from the Sapphires. Again, that ball in from Walsh was a bit flat, so lucky it wasn't intercepted by O'Shannessy.
So we're level now, 8-all, Sapphires and Hart. Under 5 minutes to go in this opening quarter. Lawrence into Johns. Has to come back. See that rugby pass, Sonia? She's passing it from the hip. Throw in now. Brophy's come out, but I think she's a decoy. Over the top, they're swinging. And Toombs can't feed in, so they're just working between the two mid-quarters at the moment. Now Brophy inside, long way out, has no choice but to put the shot up.
Yeah, and you can see she was slightly pressured to take the shot, so probably couldn't get one pass up, which means good defence from the Central Coast Hart girls.
Throw in baseline, Jackson. Pushing up quickly here.
Good turnover and smother. Unlucky to not get the pick up on that one.
Hawley with a front cut. Still wants to offload. She was in a nice position to take the shot than herself.
Yeah, and I guess it's just making sure of it. And the shot now, Hart now go up by one. So this is the first time they've taken the lead in the game so far. So maybe that was a safe offload to give. The shooter just should have passed to guarantee that goal in.
Are you watching the clock in this scenario at this level of the game?
No, I don't think you are at this point. I think the girls are watching the clock because they're tired and we wanted the quarter to finish. They're watching the time tick down.
How about the scoreboard? Are you conscious of where you're at and what needs to be done in that moment?
Yeah, and I think, the girls will always have a glimpse, and I think they'd be ignorant not to have a look. And I think it's important for players to know where their team is at and feel where the momentum's going. So to have a secret look at the scoreboard is not a hindrance to the players.
Thomas will draw a penalty for Central Coast. Walsh uses their outside arm to find Hawley in the pocket, and they're up and over. Maddie Taylor lost the ball.
Yeah, Hawley's not connecting with Maddie Taylor very well at the moment, and the feed in is not very accurate. So I think if she can tidy up that feed and the placement of it, it will definitely help put the pressure off Maddie a lot.
Moving up now. Still unsure on the feed.
Now that's a better feed in by Walsh to Maddie Taylor under the post. So the Manly Warrior defenders are getting caught on the back of the attackers for the Central Coast Hearts, so they're going to have to get off and get their feet moving and get round. Especially because they're starting to draw more penalties from behind.
Taylor swinging to the pocket. But Walsh, even though Hawley had a front space, then still tried to go over the top of the circle.
Yeah, I think we're not seeing that. I think they're getting a bit tunnel vision in their passing, so I think outside Judge and Walsh have to be a bit patient because it does actually open up like that because the Manly defenders are getting caught defending the post at the moment. Good rebound.
Win for McGugan. Sapphires pick up the ball and they'll get pushed up here with a penalty as well. Lawrence needs an option. McGugan provides her one. There's a lot of yelling being done from this sideline. Yeah, Central Coast Heart coaches.
Yeah, definitely. And Manly are definitely having to work to get the ball into the circle. Great shot.
Swish goes the ball from Cantwell.
Yeah, she's such an accurate goal attack in what she's doing, quite consistent in her game. Dakota Thomas can match her for speed, so it'll be interesting to see how this game goes.
Brophy with some good hands keeps the ball in play, but Nikita Jackson falling over the back of the sideline has thrown the ball back to Manly.
Yeah, it gives them another goal. Missed by Brody. See if she gets it away. Another miss.
So Brophy, third time lucky.
I know, and it's interesting because I've got Dakota Thomas, Lauren Moore are in that do ANL and SSN. My defenders, so I'm watching. If she misses a rebound, I'm like extra hard. I'm looking at her going, you're not boxing out. So I'm judging them, judging the defenders. Good pressure from Central Coast.
More to Walsh inside that midcourt. Thomas, long ball to Hawley. Now on the edge, they look to give it to Taylor. She has to run backwards. It was a little bit too long.
Yeah, just again, that overhead pass is not very accurate at the moment, but yet they're living it with the front is actually popping open, so their feet is going to have to be a bit more patient.
Just inside at the top, Hawley with a little back pass to Walsh.
Oh, God.
And again, still relying on Taylor, even though Hawley is free.
Yeah, and it's a pressure pass into Taylor, so something they'll definitely talk about in the quarter-time break.
The Heart up by 2 with 3 seconds on the clock, and a nice tip from Nikita Jackson ensures that that 2-goal buffer stays as it is. So we mentioned that Central Coast Heart won the title last year in the grand final up against the Eastwood Ride Hawks, but they've had a couple of big players leave them this season. So Amy Wild retired, Natalia Bridges moved on, and Sophie Buckley moved to the country. So they've lost plenty of experience.
Yeah, and I think just looking from their first quarter, I think definitely the fact that they've missed Amy Wild is what she does as a goal attack in her delivery of the ball and feeds into the circle, her movement at the front. And Amy can play both as a goal attack and a feeding player as a wing attack if she needs to create space for Maddie Turner. So I think you can definitely see from Walsh and Judge they're struggling to place that ball into Maddie at the moment, and I reckon they need to make use of Hurley a bit more. Natalia Bridges, defensive player that's gone. I think what they've been lucky is they've picked up Laura Moore. So picking up Laura Moore and Dakota. Dakota's come from NSU.
Yeah,
so,
North Shore United.
Yes, I think defensively they've got Dakota, they've got Laura, and they've got Laura Rogers, who's also with the ANL, as well as Nikita Jackson. So I think defensively the loss of Natalia Bridges isn't that big for them at the moment.
Isn't as much felt, that's right.
Yeah.
So Amy Wild announced her retirement from netball after winning the comp with the Central Coast Heart last year. She was the grand final MVP and the Premier League Player of the Year. And then I believe she went on to, no, that's right. So Amber Cross was awarded the Margaret Corbett Coaches Award. So they picked up Player of the Year, Coach of the Year, and Amber Cross actually went on to win Central Coast Coach of the Year too at the Sport Awards. So they really put netball on the map for Central Coast.
Yeah, and I think they had a great season. They were a strong team, and it was great that they actually won it at the end because they were consistent throughout the season.
It's interesting we talk about that because one of the goals that this club has, and when they first came into the Premier League as a franchise, was to put netball in the spotlight in our region and really push their players for contention. So there's been a couple of players like Nikita Jackson who's gone on to play New South Wales representatives now, and they've been really picked up. Kristen Kessler's been picked up, so Premier League's giving them that platform to show what they've got.
Yeah, definitely. And also I guess with that also goes to Laura Roger, who also got picked up for the ANL. So that's her first time. She's never played any age group. So the fact that she's been picked into a team based off the back of their great season is really important, which means, I guess, for New South Wales and girls being selected based on their talent and what they're putting out on the court week in, week out is being noticed. So it is so important for players to make sure they put out their best performance every time they step out on the court.
So there are going to be some new teams introduced into this Premier League season, or competition I should say, next year, and we're waiting till end of July, August to find out who those teams will be. But it's interesting they're going to add more teams in because I feel like 8 teams now is great, so where those teams come from will be interesting.
Yeah, definitely. I'll be interested to see where they're coming from as well.
All right, we're going to take a little break. Mel Clark just talking to her troops there. Some red faces. Looks like Singleton might come on too. She's got that centre bib on, but we'll be back with you shortly. All right, so as you mentioned, Sonia, Georgia Singleton's come on in centre for Manly Warringah Sapphires.
Yeah, she had a great run for the under-23s in that position, had a good game. So it's interesting they've taken Latika Toombs off from the midcourt. I don't think she's normally a centre. She's more wing defence. So I guess that might be something they're going to look to do is swing her across. But Brooke Lawrence is currently having a good game. So it'll be interesting to see if Latika Toombs gets back onto the court.
Meanwhile, Central Coast, no changes at all. Little tip here from Thomas. And what's going to happen? Cantwell's been pulled up for penalty.
Yeah, that was a great good feedback by Dakota, and a good interception.
Judge to Taylor in the pocket, who's just come outside.
Good pass in to Maddie Taylor and good offer in.
Taylor's having to use her body to really find some position in this circle because it's quite congested, isn't it, Sonia?
Yeah, and I think it was making it easier for her, the defenders to stay behind. So I think once they start coming in front, Maddie will then have to readjust. But until then, just keep doing it. If it's not broken, don't try and fix it. Good hands pressure defensively by the Central Coast. And they kept the circle the same with Nikita and Dakota Thomas on.
I'm still watching these passes from John because they're almost at hip height every time. So even if it's not the sideways rugby style pass, it's coming from the hip forwards.
I know, and she's so small already, so it's quite a low pass. So they might get a bit of problem, I guess, if the hand pressure comes out.
It's all right, well, it's unpredictable, you're saying.
Yep.
Taylor under the post. She's strong there. And that was one of the reasons she was the MVP the second year, sorry.
Just giving her a bit too much space in the defence of the Central Coast. Hart missed, no rebound. There's no defensive pressure on the edge of the circle by Hart. But good rebound by Nikita.
Nikita.
But Latika, Nikita,
so one
Shaniqua. I'm going to wait for her to come out soon.
One of the things that stands out about Nikita is that she is just a dogged player. You know, you talk about people that never give up. So there were 3 chances there and she went for all of them and it came off in the end. Yeah,
and I think her playing in the open, she has that luxury with the better pressure defence out in front of her by Moore and Dakota. She has more opportunity to go for this stuff and less to worry about if she misses and fails because she got backup from the other guys. So it's interesting to see how she's playing in this game versus under 23s.
Brophy to Singleton at the top of the circle. A lot of defensive pressure from the Central Coast.
Yeah, and good shot and put away by Amber Brody.
She likes that little fake too, Johns. Bringing a lot of creativity to this Sapphire side.
Yeah, and I think the fact that they brought on Georgia Singleton has sped up their front end. So the ball's moving a lot quicker. And her holds and smarts of the game are much better. The feeds into the circle, you can see.
Brophy with a lovely stance before the shot was taken. So, Sonia, I like to describe to my friends that maybe haven't watched or played netball before that centre is like the playmaker. They're like the half in rugby league, I guess, in that they set everything up and they're involved in everything.
Yeah, definitely, and that's what you ideally want to do. They shouldn't be doing, they're the link between the attack and the defenders. And it's interesting to see when you see a good centre who plays that way, you can tell the difference in one that tries to go for every other ball. So I think as centres, it is that smart game, the smart movement, smart running. You don't have to be up and down non-stop. You know, you're the feeder and filler in a bit more.
You do a lot of running, so you've got to be smart about how you save your energy.
Yeah, exactly. Oh, a bit of underhand toss by
very casual.
Jamie Johns, yeah. I just saw the rugby pass. Is that
Jackson
rugby pass?
Caught outside. Something like that. Singleton looking to go to Brophy, who was on her own, but elected to go to Cantwell in front instead.
Yeah, and help to draw the contact.
Fairway out. Cantwell.
Oh.
Ball pops off the top and into Nikita Jackson's hands.
So the pressure must be on for Cantwell because you don't normally see her miss those ones. So, good tip by Johns to put them under pressure and good pick up by Brooke Lawrence. Ooh.
Call goes the way of Manly. That's an interesting one.
Yeah, I'd be interested to see if she actually went out of court or offside.
McGugan on the chase. Keeps it in play. Oh, just got the ball then.
I know, good catch.
You've got to be careful here. Her computer's wiped out. Falcons just sitting here on the sideline. Oh, lovely pass and vision from Johns.
Yeah, and she's quite a small player, but her pass is really low as well. So I think the defenders need to get their hands up and over that. and try and slow it down. A good finish off by Cantwell.
She nails the shot, takes the Sapphires to 14. So there's 2 the difference, 10 to play till half-time. Looking over the top.
Yeah,
Hawley collects the ball from her face and offloads.
I bet it was a better pass in by Hawley and build up, and I think the change of direction is working on McGugan. So McGugan's committing hard for that first move, so she needs to wait for Hawley to do the dodge back.
Nikita Jackson in everything,
Yeah,
being a little pest in defence.
Karen Dakota, Thomas are working very well in that circle, and they're both quite young, so it's good to see.
So Thomas played under 19s at Nationals for Northern Territory.
Yeah, she did, and she was part of the NSU's under 21s winning team last season. So she's actually from the Central Coast, so I think it's good for her to go home. I guess travel-wise, you find that a lot of these girls, in order to get court time, they go to clubs that are miles and miles away. And I think it's important to sometimes stay home, you know, play, work hard, and maybe work yourself off the bench if that's the case. And I think a lot of girls do a lot of club hopping to get court time.
Do you find that once they move back to where they're from, once they have the ability to get to court time there, that they're actually a better player because they're more relaxed, they're in their own environment, and there's less stress getting everywhere?
Yeah, less travel, especially the young ones where their mums are driving them everywhere. I don't know how they put up with my mum didn't take me anywhere. It was the bus that got me there. Oh, good hands by Brooke Lawrence, unlucky. And again, the dodge by Hawley is definitely turning heads for Shaughnessy and McGugan. So, and a good quick offload.
Crowd happy with that one? Well, half of them were.
Yeah, I think Hawley's getting, this is a better quarter shot she's built from the first quarter. So it'll be interesting to see how she goes towards the end of the game.
For the difference, Hart in front with another chance here. Taylor outside the circle. Hawley has front space.
Bit of a push in the back there. That's better get around by McGugan and O'Shaughnessy though. So as long as their feet keep going, they get round and force that ball up. Hopefully they can force an error in the pass.
Singleton to start the play for the Sapphires. Johns, a rocket pass into Brophy.
I think the goal shooter came out the middle there, and I think Nikita Jackson realised she forgot to call Dakota and call the middle. So you saw a little shock in her face there as it came out.
Miscommunication.
Or no communication?
No communication, yeah. Cantwell, baseline shot. Nails it.
Good shot.
Takes the Sapphires within 4.
Good touch and hands by Brooke Lawrence. And again, just wasn't able to control that interception. And I think that's really important. A lot of the girls are getting these balls off the court and just throwing it back in without actually taking the time to look and see where it's going.
Coming backwards, Walsh decides to go to Taylor. Over the top, that's where Maddie Taylor is strong.
Yeah, and a better pass from Walsh into her.
Cantwell coming forward for the centre pass. Goes back to McGugan. A lot of cut and driving and dodging being done in this goal third now. Singleton with the fake finds Cantwell 1 foot inside the circle. And she'll get a free shot here.
Yeah, and what the Sapphires are doing is using the fake very well to move the Central Coast Heart defenders. And I think, you know, look at the size. The defenders of Central Coast are definitely towering over the Sapphires, but their attackers are a bit smarter in how they're moving the ball and protect their space, especially Jamie Johns. She uses her body very well in attack to protect her space and hold off the defenders.
Thomas with the throw in. Finds Walsh. Now Taylor outside has to get back in. Oh no, she doesn't. Hawley's there. Little swivel, turning around with the 360 and then happy to take the shot.
Yeah, Hawley's definitely getting more confident in her movement into the circle.
Seems like that partnership starts to warm up as time goes on.
Yeah, definitely. So Lauren Moore's trying to contest over the top of Jamie Johns, but Jamie Johns holds her body really well and quite flat. So Lauren's going to have to adjust. Good girl, and just to move herself along top of the circle and outside that circle edge. Good defensive pressure from the Sapphires.
A lot of hard running done by Judge.
And yeah, and a much better place pass by Judge as well, which is good to see, and Maddie rewards her for that.
The thing is, too, off that centre pass, even if Judge pulls both defenders over and doesn't get the ball, she's created a hole for someone else to come through.
Yeah, exactly. Good pressure from Lauren Moore to force Johns to throw that ball.
From the edge, Johns to Brophy, and then it's straight through the net. 19-23 for the difference, less than 5 to play till half-time. Judge wins the ball over Lawrence this time. Hawley reaching. Now she finds Walsh. She feeds into Taylor. This is when Central Coast are at their best.
Yeah, Hawley's holding herself outside the circle for a bit long, which is keeping McGugan out of play, which allows the one-on-one inside the circle by O'Shannessy.
Singleton to Cantwell. She repays the favour, and now inside Brophy with a confident shot.
Yeah, I think Jackson and Thomas need to adjust their jump of the shot. I think they're jumping too soon. They're actually getting great height on it, but because they're jumping so early, they're not going to get that tip. So they need to just count the timing of it.
Walsh on her own, both defenders drawn, but it didn't come off anyway.
Yeah.
O'Shannessy came out hunting.
I know, doing what her little sister does. So good job on her. And I think that's what the Sapphires definitely needed, was this turnover. Bit of a rotating circle, and it paid off. Good
Smart
pass by
feed.
Singleton, yes.
So for anyone back home that isn't aware, Tegan O'Shannessy is Holly O'Shannessy's sister. They usually play for the Sapphires together, but Tegan has pushed up into the Giants team for Super Netball this year, which must be so exciting for their family.
I know there's so many siblings in this. In the Premier League at the moment, I think they need to definitely do a little photo shoot of all the siblings, because it's ridiculous, because they actually all look alike as well.
Makes it easier for us as commentators,
Yeah,
Sonia.
I know the surnames. Two of everybody.
Or you can judge their run, as you said, with the Kesslers. Hawley might have to help out with that centre pass a bit more. Judge getting stuck behind.
Oh, good touch by Brooke Lawrence. Unlucky, she was able to collect that pass.
On the edge, Hawley goes to Judge. Now she's just inside, wants to have another go at it. They'll swing instead, and Taylor finds the baseline. A confident place to take the shot.
Yeah, and she held her body positioning very well, which stopped O'Shannessy from getting round onto her.
3 the difference. Lawrence finds Cantwell at the back. Johns.
Good effort by
her
Jackson.
pass, but it looks like Moore's been pulled up for that one.
Oh.
On the baseline now, Cantwell. Missed.
Yeah, good
Thomas
rebound.
is on it.
Yeah, which was a good rebound by her and well read. Good attacking move by Thomas.
Judge on her own to Hawley. Now on the edge, she's running backwards, and that allows Taylor to find front spaces. O'Shannessy drops back. So Central Coast is playing really smart in that shooting circle at the moment.
Yeah, I think the patience in which they're moving and the feeds are coming in allows them to open up the defenders. And I think in the first quarter they were playing it too quickly and the feeds were not well placed.
Well
great
won
interception by Walsh. Didn't even see her come in. And good placement ball over the top.
26-22 with a minute and a half before half time. Oh, that was badly assessed by Walsh.
Yeah, but it was a good pickup from Johns. Good footwork. Definitely to get round and read that pass.
Fairway out, Cantwell.
And a miss. That was a great jump by Thomas, but ball nearly wasted by Nikita. Ooh.
Little tip from Singleton. Something we've seen from Nikita Jackson in this game that we maybe didn't see as much in the under-23s is when she's winning the ball back with those intercepts and little tips, she's hanging on to it, and Central Coast aren't losing possession.
Yeah, definitely.
Do you think that's to do with experience from the other players around her?
Yeah, maybe it's a bit of pressure as well on herself to make sure she doesn't throw it away. Playing up in the opens is definitely a luxury, so it's good that she's taking her opportunities.
She'd definitely be warmed up after playing 2 games as well. Into her second now. Brophy throws it straight to Lauren Moore. Wrong collar dress.
Yeah,
Thomas.
and you know, Lauren has got much more height than John, so hopefully we can see more of those interceptions now that she's kind of molded into that wing defence position now.
Hawley using the transverse line to reset. Walsh finds space at the front, and Taylor
just at the back like a general. Pushes the Heart to 28. Couple of seconds left before half time. Don't think it'll be enough. No, that's it. So 28-26, the difference is 6. Who's standing out for you so far, Sonia?
Yeah, I think the movement of Hawley in the goal attack position for Hart has definitely improved from the first quarter. I think she's more comfortable in what she's doing, and you can see the way she's driving in, the change of direction, and open up the circle, which allows Maddie Taylor the one-on-one, which is definitely benefiting. I think defensively, Laura Moore's tightening up, and I think that's just causing a lot more pressure on Johns, who there is a height mismatch, so I think that's now causing Johns to look back more or pass the ball more lateral, so it's good pressure from the back end of the Hart as well.
And how about the Sapphires? What do you think Mel Clark will be saying to them now?
I would be talking a lot to the defence end. I think there's a lot of chasing going on and allowing them back out. I think they're paying too much attention to Maddie Taylor, so Maguga needs to tighten up her work on Hawley as much as possible. But also the feed coming into the circle, they can't see. I think it's that low. They actually hold the ball really low, and the Hart defenders are quite tall, so it'll be interesting to see what they do and whether they keep Singleton on. I quite like her in that middle, so it'll be interesting to see whether they put Latika Toombs back on or find a space for her on the court.
Okay, well, we've got another little story for you at halftime. This one coming from the Central Coast Heart. So their open side, who are now on the court, were doing some pre-season training, and none other than Liesl Tesh rocked up. So former Paralympian, and she was playing a wheelchair basketball match at the time with some local people, teaching them how to play. So she rushed over for this photo that you can see on the screen. And apparently Amber Cross was saying the best thing about it is they're going to try and line up a match between Liesl and maybe her friends, and also the Central Coast Opens team. So wheelchair basketball. They're going to jump
basketball.
Yeah, they're going to jump in the wheelchair and have a crack at it.
Oh, that would be good. I thought you were going to say wheelchair netball. I was like, how's that going to work?
So I'm going to put my hand up with you, Sonia, to commentate that one. I think it'll be quite interesting.
Yeah, that would be a good one, as long as I get to sit in the wheelchair and try a couple of my moves as well.
Have a go of it, yep. So Liesl Tech and Amber Cross met at the Central Coast Sports Awards, where Amber Cross was awarded Coach of the Year. There we go. Nice little picture for you. So we're going to take a little break here. Central Coast leading by 6 at the moment, and we'll be back for the third quarter. Coming back after half-time, the Heart up by 6, 28-22. And we've seen one change for the Central Coast side. Laura Roger coming on in goalkeeper, pushing Nikita Jackson to the bench. The Sapphires also making a change, so they've directly swapped Georgia Singleton out for Latiga Toombs again into that centre position where she started the game.
Yeah, and it'll be interesting to see Latiga set off that quarter, what she picked up, because obviously she got to watch the game, so see if she can make an impact and change in what she does.
Judge with an easy feed. They swing the circle over to Walsh. And this time McGugan gets in front of the ball.
Yeah, much better defensive position by Steph McGugan, which causes a turnover. And Walsh, I guess that feed that she was doing more in the first quarter came back in the placement of that. So she's going to have to readjust. I think she's a little bit taller
than Maddie Taylor too, which might give her that little bit of an edge, so they can't pass over the top as much.
Yeah, 100%. A bit of rugby underarm toss from
now you're noticing
Johns.
it too, aren't
that
you?
Gets picked up.
Anybody watching the feed will know that for next week. She likes one of those passes. Tasha Hawley on her own at the front. And a confident shot swish.
Yeah, she's getting more confident as the game goes on, so I think the defenders are going to have to put more pressure on her and on her shot.
Direct pass. Oh, look, Brophy's on her own.
Yeah, Laura Roger came out a little bit too early, so she read it but just came out too soon.
Walsh to Hawley. And back. Now Judge on the edge.
That was
up over the top.
Yeah, and a much better hold by Maddie Taylor for that ball in. Good feed by Judge.
Cantwell working extra hard for that centre pass. Nice use of her body, Johns. Just turning around.
Yeah, she does well to protect her space, which is really good, especially because she's such a smaller wing attack. The offload of the pass probably needs something she needs to look at and work on. It's just quite a low release when everyone around her is a bit taller, so she'll have to work on that offload a bit more.
Moore to Thomas. Strong pass to Walsh.
Yeah, Central Coast are bringing the ball through that midcourt very easily, so I think Cartwell and John's going to have to tighten up and try and slow down the speed of Dakota and Lauren Moore.
Up to the top of the circle. Walsh over the top at the back. Nicely timed. Caught the defenders napping. They were stationary and not ready to jump up.
Yeah, definitely.
Oh, that was hard to win, and it comes up Manly's way. So Toombs with the intercept. Lovely bounce pass. And Cantwell. Oh, how's the balance? Steadies herself for the shot.
Yeah, and that was well played by the Sapphires attacking. I think the Hart defenders allowed them to run where they wanted to go, so they're going to have to put slow them down and slow down their attack end.
Breaking call. Oh, it's contact.
Yeah, a bit of push and shove there, so that's a good call by the umpires in favour of the defenders.
Between Judge and Lawrence comes up Central Coast way. There's been a call against Lawrence. There we go. So Judge with the ball.
Oh, good touch by O'Shaughnessy. Well done. Good defensive pressure. That was better footwork by her to come round.
Little shake of the fingers. I think she jarred in that scenario. Worth it for the ball. Walsh at the top of the circle finds Taylor at the back. And with a nice body position,
yeah,
she scores another.
Yeah, another good draw by Hawley to draw the defenders to the top. Good run. So good use of the middle channel by the Central Coast Heart.
On the edge, they swing and Toombs reads it, bats it out. Oh, it looks like she was over the line.
Yeah, she just was offside with that bat. So sometimes it's better to leave it and make the pressure build for the feeders who can't get it in.
1-2, Hawley and Judge. So
yeah.
Both the Manly defenders are focusing on Taylor, but it's allowing Hawley a lot of free space.
Yeah, Hawley's doing a great sweep to the top of the circle, so the defender's going to have to pick up on that and actually contest her on that one. Good touch by Laura Roger to cause the turnover.
All on her own, Taylor.
That was well weighted by Hawley and placed in. I think if she rushed that pass, it would have got picked up by McGugan. That was waiting for it.
See, I was thinking, what's the rush? So that's a good insight, Sonia. Oh, and this pass from Walsh is no good. Oh, is the ball still in play? It is. And Brophy, with a pass from Johns, just checks whether she's allowed to take the shot. A nice work by the Sapphires. Opportunistic.
Yeah, the Sapphires are down by 9 at the moment, so they're going to have to work to get this ball back.
Call against McGugan outside. So 2 shooters, 1 defender. Surely they can get the job done here.
So Walsh opts for the harder pass up to Taylor when Hawley's was right in front. Might have been a safer option, but it pays off.
10 the difference. Less than 10 minutes to go in this third quarter. Oh, mix up. Lawrence, I don't think she meant to take that intercept, but she was ready for the ball.
Yeah, but good chase up by Laura Moore. Unlucky they couldn't get the possession. Up by Laura Roger. Well done. Causing the pressure and the turnover to the Hart. Good defensive effort by Hart.
Cantwell with front space in the front cut. Brophy will now take a penalty. Just bundled over the back line by Laura Roger. Now you mentioned Roger
I
has
didn't
been
teach
picked
her
up.
that. Yeah, I didn't teach her that. So everything I say is clean, to be clean. Yeah, so Laura's been picked up for the Waratahs this season. The first time she's been in the representative team for New South Wales, so that's good for her. Young, 21, I think, coming through. So it'll be interesting to see how she grows throughout, I guess, the season, both for Premier League and for A&L.
And how's she been playing so far?
She's been very good. She's she's one of the shorter defenders, but her elevation and reading of the game has been good. So I'm interested to see how she goes in today's game.
It's funny, I was having this discussion with someone today. It might have even been Virginia Welsh, about how when you're younger and you play goalkeeper, your height doesn't really matter. But as soon as you start to get to an age or an elite level like A&L, where all of a sudden everyone is super tall, you sort of get pushed out to that wing defence position a lot, don't you?
Yeah, they're not very good at it sometimes. Because it's a whole different angles, what you're running now on the curve across the top of the circle. So for the defenders, it's quite hard, and your space has been reduced. So the ones that can actually transition, it's a good job.
Oh, lovely pass. Johns has great vision. They're going to swing to Toombs.
Yeah,
go down low.
Yeah, I think Roger's has given her a little bit too much space, so she needs to just tighten up a little bit on Brophy.
Brophy, that's right. Unsure which option to go with. They go low to Cantwell, who's a short pass.
Yeah, which is good defensive pressure by Central Coast Hart. So Roger's going to have to just tidy up and just get a bit further back and just hold her lean a bit longer.
8 the difference, the Hart leading Sapphires. Lawrence unhappy with the call against her.
No, I think that was a good call by the umpires. They were actually holding the attacker as well, so it was a bit of 50-50, but good follow-up by Lawrence.
Bit of frustration on court there, though. If you can channel it, you can pull it in and really harness that, can't you?
Yeah, definitely. I think that's what's important. Oh, good jump by McGugan.
There we go, and the call goes against Maddie Taylor. Sapphires with a chance here. Oh, Toombs has to come through Walsh, although it's gone against her. Coming back using the transverse line to reset. Cantwell just outside the circle. Loopy pass, and it gets batted out the back by Walsh.
Yeah, good effort. Good strength and elevation from Walsh to get a touch to that.
Really good matchup between those two centres as Brophy coming out the side. Now offloads to Cantwell on the baseline. Straight through. Edging back.
And I think the Central Hart defences have come off a little bit and started to give Manly a bit too much space. So I think they might be getting a bit comfortable with that lead. And Manly are slowly working and bring the ball back. Error by Cantwell. Just misread the movements of Toombs.
Moore with a little hop and a skip as she releases the
A
ball.
hop and a skip and a flick.
Did you teach her that?
No, I didn't.
Now she gives it to Taylor, who's come right out of the circle. Hawley also. No one's in there yet. Now they've both head in. Taylor in the middle. Nice in the air.
Yeah, good pass by Walsh. I think the defenders started to off-mark a little bit, so they just need to close up for that ball once it's thrown.
Finds the net. Pushes the Heart back out. 37-29. Hawley coming back to Walsh.
Yeah, it's interesting to see the Manly defenders. I think they're sitting back a bit too much now. So I think outside the circle, the hands over pressure, just giving the Heart a bit too much space and allowing them to see and feed the ball freely. So they need to tighten up those hands and that movement there.
Brophy coming out.
Good touch by Roger.
Central Coast bench unhappy with the call against Laura Roger. Cantwell on her own. Don't know if you can hear that in the back of my mind. The oohs and the ahs from the crowd and coaching staff here. Everyone's very engaged.
Yeah, they are.
It's been a good game so far.
Yeah, it is. Central Coast Heart are out by 8, but little silly errors are creeping in at the moment, I think. So it'll be interesting to see if Manly are able to capitalise on it.
Johns back to Lawrence. Oh, how's the vision? Cantwell, can she keep her balance? She does, but the shot's no good.
Great drive by Walsh. And great hold and timing by Judge and an offload.
So O'Shaughnessy letting Taylor get back into her groove of finding that backspace and just pushing off. How do they combat that, Sonia? What can they do in this moment? They're obviously a little bit tired, a little bit throttled.
Yeah, I think now the defenders have to start messing with the feeders. So just that footwork and movement around, I think they're getting a bit stagnant. And when they're off marking, it's okay to be off, but you've got to be moving while you're doing it. So I think McGugan's definitely going to tighten up on Hawley and restrict her space, but also out in front, what Lawrence and Toombs are doing, they're going to have to be just tighter on Judge, who holds her space very well at the top of the circle and uses her body well. And she hasn't stopped moving, does she, in attack?
No.
Little Johns.
A lot of energy, that's for sure. Ah, ball won by Laura Roger.
That's what I've taught them. That's what I taught her to do.
I love it. And then we see keeper to keeper. O'Shaughnessy wins the ball. In the middle, Lawrence copying a bit from behind. Did you teach her that?
No, and I think those are the ones where more needs to pull out. I just think, yeah, just let that one sit and stay in play.
Brophy, a fair way out, not put off by it. And the Sapphires push back within 7. So the difference was 6 coming into this quarter. So it's sort of held where it was. It did push out a little bit. Now it's come back. The Sapphires here, another chance to come even closer.
Yeah, and the Sapphires are being very patient what they do with the ball, so the shooters are trying to get closer to the post, which is quite smart. But I think the Heart defenders are keeping them up and wide, which is nice.
2 minutes 13 to play as we see Cantwell steady herself for the shot. It's missed.
Yeah, and that's uncharacteristic of her, so the pressure must be built in.
Nice hold by Thomas. But it doesn't stop Cantwell sinking a 33rd goal for the Sapphires. So 39-36. We're back to that 6 difference.
Better defensive pressure from Sapphires, forcing an error, but great pickup by the Heart and good backup by Taylor, who's a long way from home. Yeah.
Out on court, you can hear them, the Central Coast Heart.
Good shot for Hawley to put that over the pressure from
O'Shaughnessy.
No, McGugan. I was going to say McGugan. Oh, McGugan.
Johns collecting the ball and passing it. And
that's
then
good defensive
a
pressure.
Fake rugby pass that time.
So that's better movement in the circle by Thomas and Roger. So forcing, they've done about 5 swings at the top, and it finally opens up for Cantwell on the baseline.
Ball
and
pops
the miss.
out.
Yeah, the build. I think Central Coast Heart put a lot of pressure, so the pressure built and the shot was missed, so that was good defensive effort.
45 seconds on the clock in this third quarter, the championship quarter. As Moore looks for an option for Central Coast. Thomas has to come from behind.
Quarter.
The tired quarter. There definitely are some tired bodies out on court.
Yeah, you can see the Heart are struggling a bit to bring the ball out through the midcourt, which is what they were doing very well for the first 2 quarters. So Thomas and Moore need to then step up and start cutting and driving a bit more like they were doing previously. Having a bit of a breather, I think.
15 seconds as Hawley sinks another for the heart. And a chance here to make it 42, but they're going to have to be quick as the time ticks. It's held now.
Well, the umpires advanced it slightly. Let's see if they can get a goal away, which they do. Great offload by Hawley.
2 seconds.
Into Taylor, yeah.
Up and through, just in time. The Heart leading the Sapphires 42-33. How do you assess the game at this point, Sonia?
Yeah, I think the defence of the Sapphires are going to have to adjust and get tight, or maybe have to try and change something up because what's happening back there is not working. The off-marking, they're getting caught through the middle and not going for ball. I think Sapphire's attacking are playing very smart in the way they enter into the circle to get to the top. So, again, judges causing a problem, I think, for the defence of the Sapphires.
So if my maths are right, the Heart outscored the Sapphires 14-11 in that quarter. So it's not much, but all these little margins add up, Sonia.
Yeah, definitely, and they're just edging ahead. I think there was a part of that quarter where we thought Sapphires might come back, but then the Heart stepped their defensive pressure back up again.
So the difference 9 at three-quarter time. Just quickly, the Australian netball team for the World Cup's going to be named tomorrow, 7:15 on the Today Show. For anyone that might be home at that time, it's pretty exciting.
Yeah, it would be. Fine. It's interesting because Australia are the last team to actually name their team. So I thought the deadline was last week. Obviously, it wasn't. So maybe everyone got their teams out prematurely. So it'd be definitely be interesting to see who gets selected in the Australian team. I know there was an article leaked in was it Telegraph that leaked a team? So it'd be interesting to see if that's actually the team. Yeah,
it's an interesting one. I'm not sure if it was the Herald Sun, actually, maybe a Melbourne-based journalist. But yeah, there has been some questions about how that got out, so we'll leave that one alone. Although it is quite interesting that Australia are the last to announce. So England, New Zealand, every other team's come out. I wonder why Lisa Alexander's been holding back that little bit.
Yeah, I don't know, which makes me question what was the actual real deadline. So maybe all the other teams announced their team prematurely. Lisa held back, weighed up the opposition and selected based on that, because I think I would.
She's been talking about how having a lot of English players and other players as well inside the Super Netball League is actually benefiting other countries. What's your view on that?
Yeah, of course it is, and I think it benefits the Australian players because it's something different. The Australian one-on-one and that movement where you bring in New Zealanders, the English, the Jamaicans, the Australians have to change their defence, and also they learn how to play against or with. You learn different tactics, like with the space marking in the zone and stuff like that. So I think it's been beneficial to most nations. Like you look at South Africa, who've nearly got 6 girls or 4 girls, I think, currently coming into this league with some replacements getting pushed in. So that's great for Norma Plummer in what she's doing and what she's developing. She's got Nolene Tour up in the New Zealand Silver Ferns coaching her 2 defenders in the back end. So that is going to definitely, prove to be so important coming into World Cup for South Africa.
You make such a good point, though, in that all the focus has been on what the other countries are getting out of Super Netball. And yet Australia, excuse me, is also coming up against those players that they'll meet in the World Cup. So, it goes 2 ways.
Yeah, exactly. It's a win-win. And, it's just all of the unknown of all the girls whose players stayed home and played in their national local league. So it'll be interesting to see that's the only unseen, so to see what they've got there. Because I know the England, had a lot of girls who stayed home who have now been selected into the squad. So they've been unseen by the Aussie girls. So hopefully they have an impact and take advantage of that.
Now, you must be a pretty happy defensive coach at the moment because the Swifts are top of the ladder. Doing very well so far.
I know they've had a great start to the season. I think that one loss that went down to Lightning two rounds ago, I think it was. So, yeah, I think they've been working hard, and it's good to see the way they're playing with such confidence and happiness with each other. And I think that is so important. They're enjoying their netball, they're enjoying each other's company, and they're working really hard. So that's the main thing.
I know we spoke before Super Netball started in our preview that we recorded in a podcast, but you were also saying that this was the year the Swifts come out and stop using the young excuse. This is the year they come out and own it.
And was I wrong?
No,
so far, so good.
So far, you've been very accurate. So the Swifts are playing the Magpies this Sunday at Kudos Bank Arena, and it's actually a double header because the Giants play the Thunderbirds straight after that. So get out to the netball. It's so exciting in person, Sonia, so lightning fast.
Yes, exactly. So no changes for the Sapphires, and one change for the Central Coast Heart, where they brought on Wild. So I don't know, is this Amy Wild's little sister?
No, apparently there's no relation at all. So Maddie Wild has come back to the side. She used to play with Central Coast and has come back this season. And yeah, you made a comment before that, you know, they can just use the same dresses they had before. So it's quite smart from Central Coast, and I'm sure she's a good player and earned it too.
Yeah, exactly. And she's got some big shoes to fill. So it'll be interesting to see how she gets out there. And now she's getting a run around. So
O'Shaughnessy to take the penalty for the Sapphires. McGugan to Lawrence. Cantwell. You can just hear the Central Coast coaches yelling out hands. Hands reminding the girls to put their arms up when they're 3 feet. Cantwell with a split stance. Steadies. Oh, doesn't
misses.
quite nail the shot, and Dakota Thomas has the height to steal the rebounds.
yeah, good elevation, a good tap to self by Dakota. So that was good to see.
Wild outside has to reset with Lauren Moore. And now Walsh just looking over the top of Toombs. They seem to be stuck just outside this circle at the moment, although Wild with a little 360, nice roll off the body, fine space, can't nail the shot, but it does end up with Taylor on the rebound.
Yeah, and I think the Sapphire defender should have got up for that. I think they're getting a bit static down in that defence end, so they're actually not challenging. So they've allowed the first ball to go up for the centre pass to pick up second phase, which is Judge, who's causing a lot of damage, but I think they're just giving them too much space, and Central Coast is slicing them apart in that front end.
44-33, the difference 11. 30 minutes to play in round 1 of the Opens Premier League. The Manly Warringah Sapphires and Central Coast Heart on the show court. Over the top. Oh, Cantwell loses the ball to the goalpost.
Yeah, definitely overcooked and rushed, so things not going well for the Sapphires at the moment.
I think Thomas might have got away with a little step there. She giggled as she let it go. Either way, we move on. Wild. Called up for stepping that time, so it all goes around, doesn't it, Sonia?
Yeah, maybe the static defence of the Sapphires is working for them. They're not moving much, and they're getting a bit stuck on this outlet pass. So if Hart can tidy up what they're doing, it could slow them down even more.
Johns with the low release, and Wild picks it up.
Yeah, they're just getting a bit sloppy in their passing and offloads and their attacking moves. So I don't know whether it's fatigue's kicked in.
Also, Wild's been sitting on the sideline, so I don't know if she's noticed that Johns has been throwing these hit passes and now being able to pick up on it. One of the benefits of being an impact player.
Yeah, exactly, coming off the bench.
45-33. Central Coast with another centre up their sleeve. Judge really struggling to get out for that centre pass because both defenders are on her. Up and over, Taylor.
Yeah, the Sapphire defenders just getting caught a bit off the mark, so they're coming in a bit late, so they've just got to do a bit more prep to be ready for the ball. They're just chasing a little bit again. Oh, great interception by Dakota Thomas and cleaned up. She's definitely been growing as the game goes on, so that's good to see.
Judge with a nice feed into Wild, head high.
Yeah, again, their defenders just caught on the back foot, so they're going to have to put a stop to this, or the score's definitely going to blow out. So it'll be interesting to see. Again, they've allowed the first ball to go. And a bit of frustration from McGugan, just keeping herself out of play.
Toombs with the centre pass for Manly. Both wing attack and goal attack were stuck behind defenders then. They're really pushing them to Central Coast Heart. Coming back to McGugan. Strong long pass to Cantwell. Find Jones at the top and Brophy with a nice pop through. Oh, can't quite nail the shot. Thomas does well on the rebounds.
Yeah, definitely more pressure being placed on the Sapphire shooters, so they're missing uncharacteristic shots which they were getting in earlier in the game. So it'll be interesting to see how they go towards the end part, whether they were able to settle to get Sapphire back into this. And we keep in mind that Sapphires are missing Kelly Singleton in that attacking shooting end, so that might be part of it as well, who's been up as a Swift training partner at the moment.
Ball won by Brooke Lawrence.
Yeah, well read.
It is important to mention that, Sonia, because these sides could look very different once A&L drops off.
Yeah, exactly, and players slot back in, so
in a way, the players here now really should be proving why they want that spot, aren't they?
yeah, or why they deserve to keep in this spot. So I think everyone will definitely step it up when they see the girls start dropping back and the A&L season wrapping up a little bit.
Healthy competition.
Yeah, exactly.
The Heart leading the Sapphires 49-34. We're moving into the final 10 minutes of round 1. Little rock of the post, but I think it was from a Manly player, so that's okay. Now, we haven't given you a score update from the other courts. I keep forgetting to do that. Stingrays are leading the Fury 45-42. Tight one there. United up over the Sparks 40-33. And the Hawks are currently leading the Panthers 51-39. So they're in good touch.
Oh, a miss by Wild. A great rebound by McGugan. Let's see if they can capitalise on this. No, they can't. The ball's wasted by Lawrence. Oh, yeah, back to Sapphires again.
Walsh just couldn't contain her little intercept coming through. McGugan, strong long pass to Johns. Oh, bit of a Hail Mary thrown, and I think her foot was out.
Yeah, so not an opportunity gone amiss. So we'll see if they're able to get it back again. Still a bit short of the pass by Judge, but Maddie was able to clean it up and take it.
With the defence on Maddie Taylor, because she's so good at just pushing off and finding that backspace at the right moment, would it be better to defend from behind or no?
No, because Maddie's good at holding her space on the split. I think O'Shaughnessy just to keep her feet moving to confuse the space of the feeders, which I don't think they're doing. She's quite static and stuck, so the feeders are able to read where to place the ball.
So with that, you're actually affecting the midcourt and how the ball comes in rather than the actual play you're up against.
Yeah, exactly. So you kind of you get a bad pass coming, which gives you an opportunity to get a tip to it. Good pick up by Lawrence.
She's won a couple of intercepts today.
Yeah, let's see if they can capitalise and score off it. A look away pass by Johns.
Interference from Walsh sees Johns with a free pass here for Manly.
Well picked up by Moore.
I must say, it's been a real classy display by both defenders. Like, it's been a real highlight of this match defence.
Yeah, because I've been coaching them.
Maybe I'm just noticing it because you're picking it up, Sonia.
No, I think the Hart defenders, they're grown in the game. I think there's a bit of inconsistency in what they're doing. So they think in the third quarter, they kind of slacked off a little bit. So it's good to see they've kind of put their foot down and they're coming away with better and cleaner interceptions.
Taylor's foot's out, so it means O'Shaughnessy will take the throw in for the Sapphires at the back. Judge out of play. Lawrence on her own, the obvious pass. She goes 1-2 with Toombs and ball won by Thomas.
Yeah, well done.
Still
that
keeping her wits about her as we edge towards the back end of the game.
Yeah, and it was good vision by Thomas to see that ball and see that pass. So, and she's got great closing speed. She used to be an athlete, so the fact that Nebel have now got her is so good. So, and she's really growing into the position in the back end.
Nice feed into Taylor.
Great draw by Wild to open up that space which is needed.
It's so important, Sonia, in netball that not to just focus on the ball because there's so much happening off the ball as well.
Yeah, exactly. So I always say to the defenders, you've got to see the player and the ball, especially when they're starting to move back and the fakes. And, you've got to read the game to some extent. Great rebound by Laura Roger. Oh, throw him.
Moore with a strong drive. And she'll help Roger out again. Again, 1-2. Over the top, Taylor right underneath where she wants to be.
Yeah, that was a great attacking move by Central Coast Hart.
So this score really starting to blow out now, 52-36. And what's been the difference for Central Coast? Why are they doing so well at this point in the game?
I do think that Sapphire's defence have got a bit static and they're getting caught a bit behind the play. So they're just going to have to readjust, and I think and Central Coast actually holding their timing in attack, so their timing is really good so far. So I think that with the defence getting caught on the back foot is opening up for them nicely.
Oh.
Yeah, late by Moore. I think she kind of wasn't watching it early enough or getting her feet ready to go. She could have got that cleanly.
Well, Johns wasn't watching either. They
No,
sort of threw the pass to the back of her. Cantwell with the 3 pump. She's going to have another shot.
A bit undisciplined by Roger, but good finish off by Cantwell, so they'll need that to keep creeping in, get a couple more goals in.
Toombs to Johns. Long ball to Brophy in the air. She comes out of the park. Nice work. Her into Cantwell. there's a really good understanding happening between these two shooters at the moment.
Yeah, definitely, and it's a pity Cantwell couldn't get that shot in. You can actually see when she's going to miss the shot, she actually speeds up on how she shoots. So normally she's a bit more slower on the shot. So she's rushed a few and they've bounced out. So she's definitely going to have to look at that and see, is that the pressure she's putting on herself? Oh, turnover, drop ball by Thomas. Saved by Judge.
Says, thank God.
But picked up by Lawrence. Good interception by Brooke Lawrence. Yeah, good call by the umpire. There's a bit of contact there. So let's see if Brophy's ready to put it away. No, again. Another miss. So picked up again by Dakota Thomas.
She's just been prowling along underneath
the
post, and it's coming off for her.
Yeah, well, she's got such great elevation, so it's good to see that she's actually got the timing on it so she can get up.
Wild was stuck with an option, but it looks like they've picked up a penalty through Judge anyway. Lots of fakes coming her way, and Taylor with a split stance now makes it 53 for the Heart. The intensity of this game seems to just have backed off a little bit.
Yeah, it has, and I guess if the score blows up, at the end of the day, Heart are the team that won it last season, so they're going to be the team that everyone's going to be trying to catch. So I think them having such a great win is stamping their authority on this tournament from the start. Didn't like that, Cantwell, so swung it out. She wants a shot closer to the post. And there she gets it, whether she wanted it or not. And good finish by Cantwell.
The difference 14 as we edge into the final 2.5 minutes of play.
Great passing to Maddie Taylor.
We're starting to see a fair bit of contact creep into the game. Do you think that's just tired bodies?
Yeah, I think definitely it is. It wasn't so bad. I think this second half has had a lot more contacts. I think the umpires are trying to control it, which is good. So, yeah, I think it's a bit of girls coming in very late for these interceptions. Or balls they're not ever going to get to, so.
Johns goes around more to find Cantwell. An obstruction is pulled up, so she'll get free rein now. Fairway out. Does Brophy put the shot up? She does. Comes out, and Roger has front space for that ball. Nice work in the air by Central Coast, hanging on to possession. Wild feeding nicely into Taylor. So Wild hasn't actually had to put up that many shots this quarter.
No, she hasn't. And, the partnership between O'Shannessy and McGugan, needs to get a bit clearer. I think O'Shannessy was calling McGugan back to help her out on the double because she knew the pass was going to go over. So McGugan's got to sort of tune into that and help her mate out a little bit more.
Nice teamwork backing up there.
Yeah, that was much better defensive effort by McGugan in the last 2 minutes. So let's hope they can capitalise on this, and they don't.
Just missing some communication in that
yeah,
back third.
Yeah, and there was no need. I think they had so much time to set it up and have a look, and O'Shannessy just rushed at it a little bit. So I think Sapphires letting the frustrations get to them a little bit.
Well, straight to McGugan.
In the Wild was free in front of her, so bad decision making towards the end. So it could be a bit of tired bodies and tired minds.
Bit of chaos in the circle then. There wasn't a clear shooter to feed to.
Yes, it's good defensive pressure, but good coming round by Lauren Cartwell. And good shot to finish it.
40 seconds on the clock. The Heart up over the Sapphires by 15 goals, considering they led by 2 at quarter time, 6 at halftime, and 9 at the final break. This has been a big quarter for them.
Yeah, and Sapphires, I think, might be disappointed in this score blowout. They are missing a few players. Obviously, Nicole Degeneres has left and pulled out from play in Premier League this year. So, obviously, she's a gun in the middle. So, I guess she'll definitely be missed for them.
I've heard she may be back later in the season. So, we'll see how we go.
Well, hopefully, she comes back sooner rather than later.
56 to 41. There's a couple of seconds to play here. Nice feed. Oh, nice shot at goal.
Yeah.
Not quite coming off, but the Heart beating the Sapphires tonight, 56 to 41. So it's interesting that in the under-23s, the Sapphires are more dominant, and
Yeah.
we've seen it flip here for the Opens tonight.
Yeah, definitely. And like you said, the Central Coast Heart team have been together, so which is good, and they're coming off the back of a win. So what they're working, everyone else is going to be playing catch up come start of this season, I guess.
So who was your player of the match for this one, Sonia?
I quite liked Hawley that came off. They took Hawley off, so I think Tasha Hawley did a great job for Central Coast Heart in keeping them in the game. And I think as the game went on, she grew and grew. It'd be interesting to see how she finished off for them, I guess, fitness-wise. But I think up in the first 3 quarters, what she put out was good and kept them instead and kept them ahead and opened up that score for them. So though she came off in the last quarter, I like what she did to get Heart where they were. Your thoughts?
My thoughts, right. Oh, well, I think Alicia Walsh did a lot of work in the midcourt. And as you say, sometimes those workhorses are what set up the play. So I think her work in the air tonight and a lot of footwork there really helped the Central Coast get over the line tonight. So we're going to wrap this up in front of the camera. Stick with us. We won't be long.
I actually quite like Judge as well.
Judge, yeah. It is hard. Oh, 1 goal. Stingrays interfering. Central Coast keep the dream of defending their title alive with the first round at least. 56-41, 15 goals the difference. Casey Judge joins us. What did you make of that performance? It's your first time in Premier League.
Yeah, it was really good to finally get out on the Premier League in a Premier League game. I thought we had a bit of a tough pre-season, but coming out tonight, the girls definitely had some really good connections and it felt really good out on the court.
And you definitely had a few great connections as well. You didn't look like you just come from Metro. You look like you've been in the team before. And I'm looking at them going, I've not seen this girl before. So you slotted in well. How's it been slotting in with these guys?
I know some of them. I've played with some of them previously when I was a bit younger. So it's nice to have some familiar faces. But I feel like we've just been working really hard at training to build those connections. And tonight it seemed to come together well.
Yeah, you had a really good game. Your body, your positioning, your feeds. It was definitely nice to watch.
Thank you very much.
What about that final quarter? We saw your lead push out dramatically. What do you think was the difference?
Well, each quarter we were trying to build on the quarter before, so we were just really working on our defence and trying to be nice and control the pace of the game.
All right, well that wraps up our coverage here from the Janaea Netball Centre for round one. Can you believe it? We've seen the under-23s and now the Opens play here. Join us next week from 7 p.m. You'll have the Opens on court first, and we look forward to having you accompany them.